Millions of people over 60 are taking vitamins that their doctors never warned them about. Vitamins that are quietly doing damage. Vitamins that were marketed to you as healthy, but are anything but healthy after a certain age. And here's the part that nobody tells you. Your body after 60 is fundamentally different from your body at 40. The way you absorb nutrients changes. The way your kidneys filter supplements changes. The risk of interactions with medications changes dramatically. What was good for you at 35 can be genuinely dangerous at 65. I've spent years working with older adults on their nutrition and supplementation, and I see the same mistakes over and over again. Good, health-conscious people who care deeply about their well-being, unknowingly make choices that are working against them. Here is just one example of how serious this is. A landmark study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association tracked over 35,000 older adults and found that certain common supplements, ones you can buy at any drugstore, no prescription needed, were associated with a 17% increase in overall mortality in adults over 60. Not a small statistical blip. 17%. That is a number that should make every single one of us pay closer attention to what we are putting in our bodies. And on the flip side, and this is the hopeful part, this is why I made this video. There are 4 vitamins that research now shows can genuinely extend your quality of life, protect your brain, strengthen your heart, and keep you on your feet and independent for years longer than you might expect. And most people over 60 are not taking them correctly or not taking them at all. So today we are going to do both. We are going to expose the 4 worst vitamins that could be harming you right now. And then we are going to give you the 4 that could genuinely change your life. In our countdown, number 1 is the most critical vitamin you must take, and the single most dangerous one you need to throw away. So stay with me all the way to the end, because both of those are things you do not want to miss. Before we dive in, take a quick second and tell us in the comments your age and where in the world you're watching from. We read every single comment and love hearing from you. And if you care about your health, hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss one of these videos. Our community is growing every day, and the information here could genuinely help someone you love. All right, let's start with the 4 vitamins you need to stop taking, beginning with number 4 on our worst list. Worst number 4, high dose. Vitamin E, the heart helper. That can actually stop your heart. For decades, vitamin E was the darling of the supplement world. Antioxidant, anti-aging, heart protective. Doctors recommended it, magazines promoted it, and health food stores put it front and center. And so millions of people over 60 started taking it, sometimes in very high doses. Here's what the research actually says now. The HOPE-2 trial, a massive, multi-year study from McMaster University involving nearly 10,000 patients, found that adults taking high-dose vitamin E supplements, 400 IU or more daily, had a 13% higher risk of heart failure. That same study found increased risks of stroke in some subgroups. And a separate meta-analysis published in the Annals of Internal Medicine, which pooled data from 19 clinical trials, found that high-dose vitamin E was associated with a small but statistically significant increase in all-cause mortality. We are talking about a supplement being sold on every shelf in America. Margaret was 71 years old when she came to see me. She'd been taking 800 IU of vitamin E every single day for almost 8 years. Her sister had told her it was good for the heart. She had no idea. When we reviewed her supplement routine together, she went very quiet. "I thought I was doing the right thing," she said. And she was trying to. She just didn't have the right information. Here's what to do. If you're currently taking a vitamin E supplement at doses above 200 IU, talk to your doctor about tapering off. You do not need to stop cold turkey. For most people over 60, the small amount of vitamin E in a quality multivitamin is entirely sufficient. Food sources, almonds, sunflower seeds, spinach, give you vitamin E in the form your body was designed to use, at the doses nature intended. After 60, your cardiovascular system is already working harder. The last thing you want is a supplement that adds to the burden rather than reducing it. Removing high-dose vitamin E from your routine is one of the simplest, fastest ways to reduce your cardiovascular risk, starting today. And speaking of things sold as natural and safe that turn out to be anything but, number 3 on our worst list shocked even some of the doctors I've spoken with. Worst number 3, high-dose beta-carotene, the colorful supplement with a very dark side. Beta-carotene supplements were everywhere in the 1980s and 90s. Bright orange capsules that convert to vitamin A in your body. Good for your eyes, good for your immune system, good for your skin. If you ever saw those antioxidant complex bottles, beta-carotene was almost certainly in there. Then came the CARET study, the Beta-Carotene and Retinol efficacy trial, funded by the National Cancer Institute. And what they found was so alarming that, stopped the trial early. In adults who were current smokers or had significant past smoking history, which includes a very large portion of people now in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. High-dose beta-carotene supplements were associated with a 28% increase in lung cancer risk and a 17% increase in overall mortality. They stopped the study 21 months ahead of schedule because the evidence of harm was that clear. Robert was 68 years old, a retired teacher who had smoked for 15 years in his 30s and 40s, and quit well before this. He was proud of that, rightfully so. But he had been taking an antioxidant blend with beta-carotene for years because it was labeled immune support for seniors. He had no idea his past smoking history made that particular supplement potentially dangerous for him. His daughter actually found my channel, shared it with him, and he called me the next week. His gratitude was something I will never forget. What should you do? First, check every supplement bottle you have right now, tonight, and look for beta-carotene on the label. If you have any history of smoking, even decades ago, talk to your doctor immediately. If you have never smoked and are in good health, beta-carotene from food sources, carrots, sweet potatoes, butternut squash, is perfectly safe and beneficial. It is only the isolated high-dose supplement form that creates this risk. If you know someone who smoked and is now in their 60s or older, please share this video with them. This is exactly the kind of information that falls through the cracks. And if beta-carotene surprised you, wait until you hear what number 2 on our worst list does to your iron levels. Hit that like button so more people find this information, and let's keep going. Worst number 2. High-dose iron supplements. Why more is dangerously wrong. After 60, iron deficiency is real and serious, but so is iron excess. And after 60, the balance tips in a way most people don't expect. Here's the biology. When you're younger and menstruating, iron loss is regular and natural. After menopause, that monthly loss stops. And iron is unusual among nutrients because the human body has no efficient way to excrete excess iron. It accumulates. It gets stored in your organs. And in excess, iron is a pro-oxidant, meaning it actually accelerates the kind of cellular damage that drives heart disease, liver disease, and cognitive decline. Research published in the American Journal of Epidemiology showed that adults over 60 with elevated stored iron levels, ferritin above 200 nanograms per milliliter, had significantly higher rates of cardiovascular events. A separate study from the University of California found associations between iron overload and accelerated brain aging in older adults. The iron doesn't disappear, it builds up, and it quietly causes damage you can't feel until it's serious. Dorothy was 74, and her daughter had started giving her an iron supplement after she seemed tired and pale one winter. Dorothy took it faithfully for 9 months. When her blood work came back, her ferritin was nearly 3 times the upper limit of normal. Her doctor was alarmed. "I thought I was helping my mom," her daughter told me, and she was devastated. Dorothy is fine now, but it took months of monitoring and dietary adjustments to bring those levels down. The rule is simple. Never take iron supplements without a blood test confirming you are deficient. And if you are a woman past menopause or a man over 60 who eats red meat regularly, ask your doctor to specifically check your ferritin level at your next appointment. It's one blood test that could save your life. Now, we have covered 3 vitamins to avoid. Our number 1 worst offender is the one that doctors see, causes the most dangerous interactions in seniors, and it's one of the most commonly purchased supplements in the world. But first, let's flip the script entirely. Because now we get to the good news. Must take number 4, magnesium glycinate. The quiet miracle. Mineral. Most seniors are missing. Studies suggest that over 70% of adults over 60 are deficient in magnesium. 70%. That means if you are watching this with a friend or partner, statistically, at least one of you is low. Why does that matter? Because magnesium is involved in over 300 biochemical reactions in your body. It regulates blood pressure, supports healthy heart rhythm, maintains bone density, modulates blood sugar, and, critically for many of you, governs your sleep quality and your stress response. A landmark study from the University of Edinburgh followed 1,400 older adults and found that those with higher magnesium intake had a 44% lower risk of developing high blood pressure over 7 years. Research from the National Institutes of Health links adequate magnesium to reduced fracture risk in postmenopausal women. And a recent meta-analysis in the journal Nutrients found that magnesium supplementation significantly improved sleep onset and sleep quality in adults over 60, in some cases more effectively than low-dose sleep aids. Why are so many older adults deficient? 3 reasons. Modern soil has lower magnesium than it did 50 years ago, so our food has less. Many common medications, including proton pump inhibitors, certain diuretics, and some blood pressure medications, deplete magnesium, and the aging kidney becomes less efficient at retaining it. Harold was 77, and he had not had a full night's sleep in 4 years. He was exhausted, irritable, and his blood pressure was creeping upward despite his medication. His doctor was considering adding a second blood pressure drug. We ran a full panel. His magnesium was at the very bottom of the normal range. Within 3 weeks of starting magnesium glycinate, 300 milligrams at bedtime, Harold was sleeping 6 to 7 hours a night for the first time in years. His next blood pressure reading was the best he'd had in a decade. He sent me a note that said, "I feel like a different man." The specific form matters enormously. Magnesium glycinate is bound to the amino acid glycine, which makes it gentle on the stomach and highly absorbable. Magnesium oxide, the cheap form found in many drugstore products, is only about 4% bioavailable. Look specifically for glycinate or malate forms. Take 200 to 400 milligrams with dinner or at bedtime. After a few weeks on the right magnesium, most people over 60 describe feeling like the background tension in their body, the low hum of tightness they'd stopped even noticing. Finally, let's go. Deeper sleep, calmer mornings, steadier blood pressure readings. You can stack magnesium glycinate beautifully with number 3 on our must-take list, which you're about to hear. And if you're finding this helpful, share it with a friend or family member over 60. This information matters. Must take number 3, vitamin D. 3. With K2, the bone and brain partnership that changes everything. Vitamin D deficiency is the most widespread nutritional deficiency in the developed world, and it gets dramatically worse with age. Here's why. Your skin produces vitamin D when exposed to sunlight. But after 60, the skin's ability to synthesize vitamin D from sunlight drops by up to 75%. Research from the Endocrine Society estimates that more than 40% of American adults are vitamin D deficient, and among adults over 70, that number climbs above 70%. A meta-analysis from Harvard Medical School reviewing 26 randomized controlled trials found that adequate vitamin D levels reduced fall risk in older adults by 19% and fracture risk by up to 23%. And here's what most D3 supplements get wrong. They leave out K2. Vitamin K2 is the traffic director that tells calcium to go into your bones, rather than depositing in your arteries. Research from the Rotterdam study found that adults with higher K2 intake had 57% lower risk of dying from coronary heart disease. Sylvia was 69, a retired librarian who was meticulous about her health. She walked every morning, ate well, and took vitamin D faithfully. But she kept having fractures. When we tested her blood, her vitamin D was 18 nanograms per milliliter. Optimal is 50 to 80. She had been taking a poorly absorbed form with no K2. 12 months after switching to D3 combined with K2, her bone density scan improved measurably for the first time in 5 years. The dose. Most adults over 60 need 2,000 to 4,000 IU of D3 daily, taken with your fattiest meal of the day. D3 is fat-soluble. Combine with 100 to 200 micrograms of MK7, the most bioavailable form of K2. Ask your doctor for a 25-hydroxyvitamin D test, and aim to keep yours between 50 and 80 nanograms per milliliter. Take this with your magnesium glycinate, and you have a powerful combination beginning to take shape. Now let's go to number 2, because this one protects the organ you quite literally cannot live without. Must take number 2. Omega-3 fatty acids, EPA plus DHA. The anti-inflammatory shield for your heart and brain. If you could only add one supplement to protect your heart and brain simultaneously, this would be it. The Reduce It trial, published in the New England Journal of Medicine, followed 8,000 adults with elevated cardiovascular risk and found that high-dose omega-3 supplementation reduced major cardiovascular events, heart attacks, strokes, by 25%. That is a number that rivals some pharmaceutical interventions, achieved with a natural fatty acid. For the brain, a study from the University of California, San Diego, followed 485 older adults over 16 years and found that those with higher blood levels of DHA had significantly larger brain volumes and better memory performance in their late 70s and 80s. And EPA, the other main omega-3, is one of the most potent anti-inflammatory molecules the human body recognizes, directly addressing the chronic inflammation that drives cognitive decline. Franklin was 72, a retired engineer, sharp as a tack, but beginning to notice that names were slipping away from him. "I know the person, I just can't find the word," he told me. His omega-3 index was at 3.2%. Optimal is above 8%. He started high-quality omega-3s at 2 grams of combined EPA and DHA daily. After 6 months, he described it simply. "The fog lifted. I feel like myself again." Quality matters enormously here. Choose a triglyceride form fish oil, up to 70% more bioavailable than ethyl ester form. Look for third-party testing for heavy metals and oxidation. The dose, 2,000 to 3,000 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA daily, not just fish oil total. Take it with a meal that contains fat. If fish oil causes burping, store the capsules in the freezer. This trick eliminates the issue for most people. If you are on blood thinners, consult your doctor about the right dose. Stacked with magnesium and D3 plus K2, You now have a foundational protocol addressing sleep, blood pressure, bone health, cardiovascular risk, and brain function simultaneously. And now, number 1, worst number 1, plus must take, number 1. The vitamin swap that could save your life. Worst number 1. Preformed vitamin A, retinol. Supplements. Vitamin A in its preformed retinol version, found in many multivitamins as retinol palmitate or retinol acetate, is something your body cannot safely eliminate in excess. It accumulates in the liver, and after 60, it becomes actively dangerous. A study from Tufts University, following over 72,000 adults, found that postmenopausal women with higher intake of preformed vitamin A had significantly higher rates of hip fractures, directly associated with bone thinning caused by excess retinol. Research from the National Osteoporosis Foundation corroborates this. Preformed vitamin A accelerates bone loss in older adults, and many people are unknowingly getting far more than they realize, because it appears in fortified cereals, multivitamins, and standalone supplements simultaneously. Check every supplement label you have for vitamin A as retinol, retinol palmitate, or retinol acetate. If you're over 60, eating a reasonably varied diet, you almost certainly do not need a retinol supplement. The beta-carotene form from food is safe in non-smokers, but even that is best obtained from food rather than capsules. Must take number 1. Vitamin B12, methylcobalamin. Here is the connection. While many people over 60 are unknowingly accumulating excess fat-soluble vitamins, they are simultaneously running dangerously low on one of the most critical vitamins for their nervous system, brain, and energy, vitamin B12. After age 50, the stomach progressively produces less hydrochloric acid and less intrinsic factor, the protein required to absorb B12 from food. The National Institutes of Health estimates that 10 to 30% of adults over 50 have difficulty absorbing food-bound B12. By age 75, that number may be closer to 50%. What does B12 deficiency feel like? Crushing fatigue that sleep doesn't fix, tingling or numbness in the hands and feet, often written off as just aging, depression and cognitive fog, and in severe cases, irreversible nerve damage and cognitive decline are frequently misdiagnosed as early dementia. A study in the journal Neurology found that older adults with low B12 had significantly greater brain atrophy on MRI. A Johns Hopkins review found that B12 deficiency is responsible for a meaningful percentage of dementia diagnoses in older adults, and that many of those cases are partially reversed with supplementation. Agnes was 81 when her son brought her in after months of increasing confusion and memory problems. He was terrified. He thought this was Alzheimer's. Her B12 came back at 152 picograms per milliliter. Normal is above 300, optimal is above 500. She began B12 supplementation immediately. Over 4 months, the confusion lifted. Her son called it a miracle. Her doctor called it a textbook example of something that should be caught far earlier. Choose methylcobalamin over cyanocobalamin. It is the bioavailable form your cells actually use. Take it sublingually, under your tongue, dissolving directly into the bloodstream, bypassing the absorption problem entirely, at 1,000 to 2,000 micrograms daily. After 4 to 8 weeks, most older adults describe a lift in energy that feels almost startling, like a light coming back on. Mental clarity sharpens. The tired heaviness of limbs becomes lighter. Many describe it as feeling 10 years younger. Here's what I want you to take away from today. Your body after 60 is not a lesser version of your younger body. It is a different body, one with different needs, different risks, and different opportunities. The information you have just heard is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to give you back control. You are not powerless against aging. You are not at the mercy of whatever is happening inside your cells. You have choices, specific, evidence-based, practical choices that can meaningfully affect how you feel, how clearly you think, how soundly you sleep, and how long you live with your independence and your vitality intact. Which one are you going to start with first? Tell me in the comments. I genuinely read everyone. And please, share this video with someone you love who is over 60. A parent, a spouse, a dear friend. This information is free, and it could genuinely change someone's life. Thank you, truly, for watching. Take good care of yourself. You deserve to feel well.